The crash, he fell from the sky. The sky burned red. High above the quiet alien world, something tore through the clouds. A metal object on fire screamed across the sky. It wasn't a bird. It wasn't a star. It was something else. Something alive inside. A small escape pod crashed deep into the thick forest, shaking the ground. Smoke rose into the air. Birds flew away in fear. All went quiet again, except for one sound. A soft, weak cough. Inside the broken pod, a human lay still. His body was hurt, burned, bleeding, and bruised. His helmet was cracked. His name patch read Lt. Cade Morrison. He tried to move, but pain shot through his side. He groaned and fell back. His eyes closed, but someone was watching. Not far from the crash, hidden between the trees, a figure stood silently. She was not human. Her skin was pale blue, almost glowing under the forest light. Her eyes were large, silver, and filled with fear. She had not seen a human in many years, and yet, she stepped closer. She had lived alone for a long time. A widow. Her mate died in the last war. Since then, she stayed away from everyone, both human and alien. But this man, this broken, helpless man, something about him made her heart ache. She came closer, slowly, like a shadow. She looked at his wounds. They were bad. He wouldn't survive long. She placed her hand gently on his chest. His heart was still beating. "He's still alive," she whispered. Her fingers trembled. She was afraid. Humans had brought her pain before. But this one, he looked lost, not dangerous. Weak, not cruel. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, more to herself than him. "But I can't leave you here." She touched a small crystal on her neck. It glowed faintly. A sign of her people. A sign of healing. Using both hands, she lifted him from the wreck. He was heavy, but she was strong. She moved fast, avoiding open ground, hiding in the trees. No one could see her. No one must know. After some time, she reached her hidden home. Deep in the mountains, behind thick vines and ancient stones. No one had found it before, and she hoped no one ever would. She laid the human down on a bed made of soft moss. The fire inside her small home crackled gently. She looked at him again. He was young, tired. His face was covered in ash and blood. His lips moved slightly. "Water," he whispered. The alien woman blinked. She hadn't heard that voice in years. She quickly brought a small wooden bowl, filled with fresh stream water. Carefully, she lifted his head and let him drink. "Easy," she said softly. "You're hurt." His eyes opened a little. He saw her. First, fear filled his face. But then, confusion. "Who are you?" he asked. She didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, she reached into a small wooden box and pulled out a glowing blue stone. She crushed it gently in her hand and rubbed the powder into his wounds. The powder shimmered. His skin began to heal slowly. Not fully, but enough. He gasped as the pain lessened. "What is that?" he asked. "Healing dust," she replied in a quiet voice. "You're not human." She shook her head. "No, I am not." He stared at her for a moment. Then, "Why are you helping me?" She paused. Why was she? She should have run away. She should have hidden. But when she saw him lying there, broken and alone, something deep inside her heart moved. Maybe it was her memories. Maybe it was hope. Maybe she was tired of being alone. "You fell from the sky," she said, looking at the door. "Like my husband once did. Long ago." The human blinked. "You had a human husband?" "No," she replied. "He was one of my kind. But he helped a human once. That human betrayed him. My husband died." Silence filled the room. "Then why save me?" he asked again. The alien woman looked at him. Her eyes were not angry, just sad. "I don't know," she whispered, "but I couldn't watch you die." She stood up and turned away. "You should rest," she said. "You'll need your strength." The human nodded slowly and laid back down. As he drifted into sleep, he whispered 2 words. Thank you. The alien widow stood still, listening to the fire crackle. She closed her eyes, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel completely alone. She hadn't spoken a single word in 7 years. Not to a traveler, not to a soldier, not even to the wind. The alien woman, once known as Valari, had become a ghost in her own world. After the war, after her mate died, she vanished. No one knew where she went. Most thought she had died with him, but she didn't. She simply disappeared into the mountains. There, she built a life no one could find, hidden under stone, shadow, and silence. The forest knew her. The trees gave her shade. The rivers gave her water. The wind carried her sadness. Valari became a myth, a forgotten widow, until yesterday, when something fell from the sky. Inside her mountain home, the human man slept quietly, his body still weak, his breath slow, but alive. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know who had saved him. And Valari, she stood in the corner watching him. She wasn't sure what to do. Her hands were still shaking. She hadn't touched another living being in years. Now she had healed one, fed one, protected one, and it terrified her. Valari turned and walked into the back room. Inside was a small wooden box, filled with old items, a broken necklace, a faded photo of her and her mate, and an old cloth, stained with blood from long ago. She picked it up slowly. "This was the last time I tried to help a human," she whispered, "and it cost me everything." Her voice sounded strange, even to her own ears, like a language forgotten. She returned to the main room. The human was stirring. He opened his eyes again. "You," he said, his voice raspy. "You're still here." Valari didn't move. "I thought maybe I dreamed you." "No," she said after a long pause. "I am real." The human tried to sit up but winced. His side still hurt. "Don't move too much," she said quietly. "You're not strong yet." He looked at her with confusion and caution. "Why are you helping me?" Valari didn't answer immediately. She looked outside, through the small hole in the wall where morning light touched the leaves. "I don't know," she said. "I thought I had forgotten how to care." The human tried to smile. "Well, thank you." Silence again. After a few minutes he said, "My name is Cade, Lieutenant Cade Morrison." She nodded, slowly. "I'm Valari." "Valari," he repeated. "That's a beautiful name." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "Flattery doesn't work on me." Cade chuckled softly. "Wasn't trying. Just making conversation." She walked past him and began to prepare a bowl of warm broth using roots and herbs from her forest garden. The smell filled the air, strange, earthy, but comforting. He watched her work. "You live here alone?" he asked. "Yes." "For how long?" "Since I buried him." Cade didn't ask who. He could see the pain in her face. It was written in the way she moved, quiet, slow, careful, like a woman who had lived too long with ghosts. When she brought the bowl to him, he reached out. Their fingers touched for a second. She pulled away like she touched fire. "I'm sorry," he said. "No, I just forgot what touch felt like." She stood again, walking back to the shadows. Outside, something howled far in the distance. Not human, not animal, something in between. Cade looked toward the sound. What was that? Valari didn't answer right away. "There are worse things than warships on this planet," she finally said. "Things that hunt anything with blood and breath." Cade swallowed hard. "And they will smell you soon," she added. He gripped the edge of the bed. "Then I should leave." "You can't. Not yet. You won't survive out there." "And if I stay, will you protect me?" Valari looked at him carefully. "I'm not sure I can protect anyone anymore," she said. But in her heart, something stirred. A memory, a promise, a part of her that was not dead yet. She turned away, whispering to herself, "I didn't save him to watch him die later." That night, as the moon rose, Valari sharpened her old blade, the one she hadn't used since her last battle. Her hands moved with practice. Her eyes stayed locked on the forest beyond. Cade slept, his body healing, and far away, Glowing red eyes watched from the dark. Something was coming. And this time, Valari would not run. The silence between them was louder than words. Not because they had nothing to say, but because they were afraid to say it. Cade sat near the small fire, his back against the cave wall. His wounds were healing, but the pain still lingered. Not just in his body, but deep in his chest. Not from injury, but from something else. Loneliness. Across the room, Valari sat still as a stone, her eyes watching the flames dance. She hadn't spoken in hours. She didn't need to. Her silence said everything. She didn't trust him. Not fully. Not yet. And Cade? He didn't trust her either. Not completely. But he was alive because of her. That much he knew. The fire crackled. Rain began to fall outside, light at first, then steady, like the sky was trying to wash the world clean. Cade finally broke the silence. You saved my life, and I still don't even know what you are. Valari didn't look at him. I am what's left, she said softly. Of what? She paused. Of someone who believed in peace and was punished for it. Cade watched her closely. You mean your husband? She nodded. He trusted humans once, she whispered. He thought they could change. He thought they could be friends. Cade lowered his eyes. And they killed him? Valari looked at the wall, her eyes distant. No. One of his own did. For helping a human. Cade didn't know what to say. He stared at the fire. Its light flickered in his eyes. Then why save me? He asked again. You should have left me there. Valari finally looked at him. Her silver eyes were calm, but tired. Because when I saw you lying there, she said, I didn't see a soldier. I saw someone broken. Like me. Cade swallowed hard. For the first time since the crash, he felt seen. The rain grew louder outside. Valari stood and walked to the entrance of the cave, looking into the storm. The forest below was thick with mist. Shadows moved between the trees. Cade followed her gaze. You said something was coming, he said. Yes. What is it? Valari didn't blink. They're called the Morvacs. They hunt anything with warm blood. Cade raised an eyebrow. Aliens. Predators, she replied. They live underground, but when the rain comes, they rise. Cade looked at her. Can we fight them? She smiled bitterly. Can you even walk straight yet? He chuckled. Fair. She stepped back inside and handed him a stick, long, firm, sharp at one end. Use this if you have to, she said. But don't be brave. Be smart. Cade looked at the weapon. You really don't want me to die, huh? Valari didn't answer, but her silence was softer this time. Later that night, Cade couldn't sleep. His mind raced. Who was she, really? Why did she live so far away from everyone? And why did he feel something pulling him toward her? It wasn't love. Not yet. But it also wasn't just survival. It was something else. A connection. A strange peace in her presence. Like standing in a battlefield and hearing a lullaby. He turned to face her. She sat against the wall, eyes closed, but not asleep. You said your people punished you, Cade said quietly. Why? She opened her eyes. Because I buried a human. He blinked. What? After my husband died, I found the human he helped. He was already gone, burned in the attack. I gave him a peaceful burial. My people said it was betrayal. Cade frowned. That's not betrayal. That's humanity. Valari smiled weakly. I am not human. Maybe not, Cade said. But you're more human than some of the men I've fought beside. A strange warmth filled the air. For a moment, neither of them felt like strangers anymore. Suddenly, a distant screech cut through the night. Valari stood instantly, her eyes sharp. They're close, she said. Cade tried to stand too, using the stick for balance. What do? We move. To where? To the caves beneath the cliff. They won't follow us there. He nodded. Lead the way. As they stepped out into the cold, wet darkness, Cade asked one last question. Why help me now, after everything? Valari looked at him as the rain poured down. Because the last time I ran, I lost everything. She turned toward the shadows. And this time, I won't run alone. The sky was quiet now, but the silence wasn't peace. It was warning. Something else had arrived. Not with fire, not with sound, but with purpose. While Cade and Valari moved through the thick forest, stepping over roots and ducking under twisted branches, neither of them knew that far above, in low orbit, another ship had been watching. Not a rescue ship, not a friendly one. This one didn't carry help, it carried orders. Find the survivor. Retrieve the black box. Eliminate witnesses. Down on the ground, Cade limped beside Valari as the path narrowed. Rain still fell, soft but cold. Valari walked ahead, silent, eyes sharp, senses alert. She could feel it. The forest was off. Too quiet. The birds were gone. The air smelled wrong. She stopped. Something's here, she whispered. Cade paused behind her, gripping his makeshift spear. You mean the Morvax? She shook her head slowly. No, something else. Suddenly, a small red light blinked above them, then vanished. Cade's heart skipped. Did you see that? Valari didn't answer. She was already reaching for the blade on her hip. High above, the ship sent down two dark figures. Not aliens. Not monsters. Humans. But not like Cade. These were recovery agents. Trained to kill. Silent. Clean. No questions. They dropped into the forest like shadows. Their armor camouflaged into the trees. Their visors scanned for movement. Heat. Heartbeats. And they found one. Back on the trail, Valari and Cade reached the edge of a cliff. A cave opening was hidden behind thick vines. Valari pushed through first. This way, she said. But Cade didn't move. His head tilted to the side. His ears caught something. A sound. Not thunder. Not wind. Boots. Two pairs. Fast. Silent. He turned around. And that's when he saw it. A red laser light sliding across a tree. Down! He shouted. He tackled Valari just as a shot rang out. It burned through the air, missing them by inches. She hit the ground hard, rolled, and was up with blade in hand. From the trees, two human soldiers stepped out, armed, silent, cold. Valari's eyes went wide. Humans. Cade stood beside her. Not mine. Not anymore. The lead soldier spoke, voice robotic through the mask. Target located. Civilian life form interfering. Mission clear. Valari tightened her grip. They're here to kill you, she whispered. Cade nodded. And anyone who helped me. Valari didn't wait. She moved like lightning, her blade flashing through the rain. One soldier fired, but she was already behind him. The blade pierced armor. The man dropped. The second turned toward her, just as Cade swung his spear and knocked the weapon from his hand. But the soldier punched back. Hard. Cade fell. Valari rushed forward, blocked another strike, then drove her blade into the enemy's side. The forest fell quiet again. Two bodies lay still. Cade sat up, breathing hard. Why would they send recovery units? He asked. There wasn't supposed to be anyone left. Valari looked at the corpses. They weren't here to rescue. They came to erase. She knelt beside one of the bodies and removed a small device from the soldier's belt. Tracker, she said. They know you're alive. Cade's face darkened. And now they know you're helping me. Valari crushed the tracker under her boot. Then we must move faster. There will be more. They entered the cave. Inside, it was dark, damp, but safe, for now. Valari lit a small glowstone and placed it on the wall. Soft light filled the space. Cade sat down, holding his ribs. You didn't have to fight for me, he said quietly. Valari looked at him, calm but firm. I didn't fight for you, she replied. I fought for a promise I made long ago. He raised an eyebrow. What promise? That I would never let fear decide who deserved to live. She walked deeper into the cave, her steps echoing softly. Cade leaned back against the stone. Even with danger behind them, he somehow felt safer now than ever before. But deep in orbit, another message was sent. Unit Alpha, lost. Target escaped. Widow confirmed active. A new ship prepared to launch. And this time, it wasn't just cleanup. It was war. The machines stopped moving. The alarms were quiet. but no one in the human base felt safe. Nia sat alone in a quiet room, her back to the door, her eyes closed. In her hands floated a small metal shape, a symbol she built from junk parts. It spun slowly in the air, without touching her skin. It shouldn't be possible. But it was happening, right there inside a steel room under bright human lights. And the soldiers were watching. Commander Harris stood behind the one-way glass. He had seen many strange things in his career, alien tech, broken minds, battlefield miracles. But never this. She's not using wires. Not tools. Nothing, whispered Tech Officer Lane. She's using something we don't measure, Harris said. Like a brainwave? No. Like memory. In the corner of the room, Private Sam watched Nia silently. Then he asked her, "Where did you learn that?" Nia opened her eyes. "I didn't learn it," she said softly. "I remembered it." "From where?" "From before I was born." Later, Sam gave her an old service droid, broken for years, covered in dust. "This one's dead," he said. Nia walked toward it. She didn't touch it. She just looked at it, then knelt down. She placed the spinning symbol near its chest. Then she whispered, not in words, just sound low and soft, a vibration, click, whir. The droid's eyes lit up, blue, alive. It stood up slowly, calmly, like waking from a long dream. Every soldier stepped back. "Don't move. It's alive. Turn it off." But the droid raised both hands peacefully. Then it spoke. "She brought me back. Not with fear. Not with code. With connection." Nia smiled gently. "He remembers," she said. "Remembers what?" Harris asked. "That he's not just a machine." Later that evening, Lura and Nia sat in the cafeteria, away from weapons and wires. Lura placed her hand on her daughter's head. "You shouldn't use your gift here," she said. "But they needed help," Nia replied. "You're not a tool." "I know, but they think I am." Meanwhile, Lane pulled old records from the Haven files, the few that had survived deletion. One showed a test result. Subject H7. Full machine empathy. A note in red. Too dangerous. May reject command. Terminate. She looked at the photo of subject H7. Same eyes. Same glow. Same calm face. It was Nia. That night, the floating symbol that Nia made changed shape. It folded inward, became sharper. More like a key than a decoration. Lura noticed. "What's happening?" "It's opening," Nia said. "Something under the base. Something old. Alive." "Yes, but trapped." "Do we need to go?" "No. We need to listen." The commander was asleep in his chair when the dream began. He saw fire. Cities in space falling. Then he saw a girl, standing at the edge of a ruined world, her eyes glowing. She didn't destroy it. She was trying to hold it together. Then he woke up. An alert flashed on the screen. Bunker Level 7, sealed for decades, was now open. No one had touched it. But the door was open. Sam and Lane went down with a team. The air was thick, old, heavy with dust and silence. Inside the bunker was a nursery. Beds, blankets, small toys, and drawings on the wall drawn by children, not human. Lane found one picture. It showed a girl holding a glowing star. Around her were people afraid, but behind her something bigger. A hand, a machine, a message. She speaks for the silence. Back at the surface, Nia whispered to her mother. "They left us here to be forgotten. But we're not forgotten anymore." "No," Nia said. "Now they remember. And remembering is power." The base systems lit up again, not with an attack, but with a signal. A soft, slow signal from deep space, calling back. Nia looked up at the stars. "They heard me." "Who?" Lura asked. "My brothers. My sisters. The others like me." Commander Harris stared at the signal data. "They're coming." Sam nodded. "Should we be scared?" Nia stood at the doorway. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She simply said, "No. Not if you choose something better than fear." The stars above planet V9 were quiet. But down below, truth was waking up. Not in fire, not in battle, in memory. And memory has its own kind of war. Inside the underground bunker, Sam moved slowly. His boots stepped over faded toys, rusted child-sized chairs, and a cracked wall filled with symbols, drawings, tiny handprints, a child's name written over and over again. Nia. He didn't speak. He just stared. Lane was behind him, scanning the air. "There's no radiation," she whispered. "No traps. No weapons. Just silence." Then she paused, and she pointed. At the far end of the room, a large metal door had been sealed shut, until now. It was open. Behind it was a chamber, and inside, a machine sat on a raised platform. Not large, not threatening, but it was watching. Back on the surface, Commander Harris stood face to face with Lura. "Tell me everything," he said. She looked tired, like a person digging up her own grave. "We came here years ago," she said, "before Nia was born. We came because we were invited." "By who?" "By your people." She paused. "They called it Project Haven. They said they wanted peace. They said they wanted to learn. They said they wanted to build something better. And they didn't? They did, until they saw what we made." Below, Sam touched the smooth surface of the machine. Suddenly, it lit up. Soft blue glow. A recording played. A woman's voice. Human. Project Haven Phase 3 log. Date. Classified. Subject H7 shows increasing sensitivity to neural fields. Can detect emotion through frequency. Can rewrite basic drone code with thought. Then, we cannot control her. Termination order has been suggested. Lura continued, her voice quiet. "We didn't build weapons. We built bridges. Children who could understand both flesh and machine. Both war and peace." Harris interrupted. "Why didn't we know this?" "Because your leaders erased it. They didn't just end the program. They buried it. They locked us in. And they sent drones to clean the failure." "Failure?" Lura looked him in the eyes. "They called our children a failure because they couldn't be controlled." In the bunker, Sam found something else. A small notebook, handwritten in alien script, mixed with human letters. Lane scanned it. These were Nia's first drawings. And her first dreams. "Dreams?" Sam asked. Lane flipped the page. It showed 3 figures, standing alone. One was a girl, the other 2 broken machines. And behind them, a planet on fire. "Was she dreaming the future?" he whispered. "Or remembering another one?" Lane replied. Meanwhile, Nia stood at the edge of the landing pad, under the open sky. She closed her eyes. She spoke without sound. And the signal in deep space answered. 3 words came through the comm system. "Is she safe?" The voice was not human, but it was warm. Nia smiled. "They're coming," she said. Commander Harris received the full decrypted files from Lane, and he finally saw it all. Photos of the original test subjects, secret logs, orders signed by generals who never stood trial. Erase all evidence. Lock down V9. Silence the survivors. His hand trembled. "They didn't just abandon them," he whispered. "They hunted them." He walked out onto the landing pad. Lura and Nia stood there. The wind moved softly around them. "Why didn't you fight back?" Harris asked. Lura answered, "Because we wanted to show you we were more than what you feared. And what if the others come? What if they're not like you?" Nia turned. Her eyes glowed softly. "They're exactly like me." Lane ran out with a new report. "Commander, we've got visual. An incoming craft. No weapons. No escort. Just one ship. It was shaped like nothing human. It moved like it was breathing. And it was landing." Harris looked at Nia. "What happens now?" Nia stepped forward. "Now you choose." "Choose what?" "Whether you meet them as soldiers or as people." Inside the approaching ship were others like her. Children grown older. Wounded. Changed. But alive. They didn't come to destroy. They came to see who remembered them. And if remembering was enough. The alien ship touched the ground without a sound. No engines. No landing gear, just a soft glow beneath it, like it was floating on light. Soldiers gathered at the edge of the base, weapons ready but hands shaking. None of them had seen anything like this. Not in drills, not in war, not even in dreams. Commander Harris stood in front, alone. Behind him, his people. Before him, the ship that carried the children of Project Haven, the ones humanity tried to erase. He looked at Nia, who stood calmly beside her mother, her tiny metal symbol spinning slowly in her hand. "Are they dangerous?" he asked. Nia's answer was quiet. "They're like mirrors. They'll show you what you bring to them." The ship opened, but no ramp dropped. Instead, a soft energy field formed like a doorway made of memory. And from it, they came. Not soldiers, not monsters, children but older than Nia. Teenagers, young adults, changed but alive. Some had strange eyes. Some had metal limbs. Some walked slowly, like the weight of years was heavy. They didn't speak. They just stood watching the humans. Waiting. Private Sam lowered his rifle. Lane stepped forward and took a breath. "They came without armor," she whispered. "They're not here to fight." Then, from the back of the ship, a tall figure stepped forward. Not a child. A machine. But not like the others. It had the shape of a person. Smooth, graceful. Its face was made of shifting light, and in its chest, a soft blue core. It looked at Nia and she walked toward it. They stood only feet apart. Then Nia touched its hand, and it knelt before her. Gasps echoed through the human ranks. The machine spoke, its voice deep, calm, full of sorrow. "I remember you, little one. You were the last hope before they closed the door." Commander Harris stepped forward. "Who are you?" The machine turned. "I was once your creation. Now, I am only a witness." "A witness to what?" "To your choice." The snow began to fall again. Quiet, light, like ash from a dying fire. The commander removed his helmet. "I didn't know what we did to them. But you know now." He looked at Nia. She held out her hand, not in threat, in peace. "Why are you here?" he asked her. Nia answered without fear. "To give you a second chance." Behind her, the other Haven survivors began spreading across the field. Some touched the base walls and the lights turned blue. Some knelt by the broken machines, and they began to hum softly. They weren't attacking. They were healing what was broken. Harris dropped to one knee. Not in weakness, in decision. He turned off his communicator, then his weapon. Then he whispered, "I choose peace." The machine looked up at the sky. "Then your world may live." Days passed. The Haven survivors helped restore systems, repair the broken satellites, and heal parts of the base no human could fix. Nia walked freely now, laughing sometimes, drawing symbols, teaching words from her forgotten language. Children of soldiers played beside her. No one told them to be afraid anymore. But one day, as the ship prepared to leave, Nia stood at the gate. Sam walked up to her. "You're going." Nia nodded. "There are others still sleeping, others still waiting." He looked down. "You saved us, you know?" She smiled. "You remembered us. That's what saved you." Lane gave her a small gift, a locket with a photo of the base team. "In case you forget." Nia opened it, smiled. "I don't forget," she said. "I remember everything." As the ship rose into the sky, Nia stood at the window. Below, the human base grew smaller. But it wasn't just a base anymore. It was proof that the past could be rewritten, that fear could become understanding, that even lost children could find their way home. Inside the command tower, Harris wrote his final report. "They were never weapons. They were warnings, and we almost ignored them. But one small girl, barefoot in the snow, asked for a warm meal and gave us back our future."